Hi everyone, my name is Wojtek Haremza and this is the Ask About SEO podcast. Today, mine and yours guest will be Kacper Woźnica, who is the CEO of iCEA Group North America. Let's start. Hi Kacper. It's nice to meet you in the studio. I'm very glad that I can see you here. Today we're going to talk about SEO in US. The reason why I'm talking about it with you is that one of your main job is to handle the company work in US market. So the first question that I need to ask you about is the SEO services in US. Why there is some kind of thoughts that SEO services in the USA are not good enough?
It's not like they are not good enough, to be honest with you, but that may be like a general opinion from, let's say, most of the clients that we had approached. And the point of view is quite different than we have on the SEO service as a service.
What are the difference?
Yeah, main difference will be that SEO as a search engine optimization for most of SEO companies in the US will only be around optimizing your website through your through the Google needs. So only the technical optimization, maybe some kind of a backlinking as well. But if you would like to have like a wider spectrum whole service, you need to approach several different companies actually to create a content, to create a technical optimization on the separate company, and then with the good backlinking that will be another company. UX and conversion rates, another company. So lack of communication, let's say, in between those companies makes it not that efficient as it could be.
Okay, so as you mentioned, there's a big segmentation on the SEO market, and in one case is a good because we've got a specializations on specific things what you need to do in the SEO service. But as you said, there's a problem with the communication between the companies, and in my opinion, there is also the big problem could appear when you want to make a one good holistic strategy for the e-commerce, because we are mostly working with e-commerce sites. So there's I think in my opinion, there's going to be a big problem to make a good holistic strategy that can cover all the elements on a timeline when you are working with so many different companies.
Yeah, that will be true. Mainly the communication gap, communication problems in between companies. That's let's say you will need another company to hire another company that will be responsible only for that in this case. Yeah. So yeah, that's true actually.
Okay, but there's one thing that you need to hire every company for each thing that you want to do on your e-commerce. But I think there's also a problem with the costs because of that. Because when you want to hire a company for link building, they need to hire the PM for that. Then they've got the link builders, and then there are the costs of the publications itself. So then you want to have a content company. They also need to give you a PM. And so at the end of the day, you've got about 7 PMs that are working on one project.
Yeah, that may be true. In some cases, that will be true. That will be like the cost consuming. I think most of the clients from e-commerce basis, let's say the companies that doesn't have their own team, in-house team, because that will be the different story. In this case, yeah, they may have a problem with the costs. It's not a cost efficiency at all. Communication, strategizing the things and stuff like that. So that's why in most of the cases the SEO do not work as it should, or will not be as good at it could be.
Yeah, it cannot show their full potential in the market. But as you said, it's a good option for the e-commerce company that got the in-house or some kind of e-commerce manager that knows very good SEO service, and he can communicate with all the other companies. But let's say more true about it. Not every e-commerce can handle the e-commerce manager or project manager only for SEO services, then they're starting looking for the companies.
That's true. To have your, let's say, inside team that will work with SEO and with the companies around SEO, you need to be quite big for that. That will be really expensive. But in this way, let's say on the US market, that will be for now one of the ways that you may be sure that you are getting what you need to get with like 95% of clients, let's say.
Yeah, and also all of those services are complementary, totally complementary, and from where the e-commerce owner should know which of them they need at this moment of working on the services.
That's true. Like it will be problematic, especially for like solo owners of the e-commerces, of the medium e-commerces. I think the best way to work with the SEO for them will be to get someone who will take over all the job and only will be showing them the results actually. Of course, for that we need a strategy that you have told about earlier. So the best way, the easiest way to be focused on the business, because that's the idea. The store owner will be 100% focused on their business, will be to create a full strategy in first month, let's say, like we do it, and then work for next 3 quarters, next 9 months without bothering the client with the things that will not be important at the moment. Like he may spend his time on the business itself.
Yeah, and I think also there's a thing that can be a lot of problems because even if you've got a very good SEO agency, but only SEO agency, not SXO, so they're not making any UX, then it's like a problem with the client. Like client is calling to you and Kacper, everything is okay, but sorry, I'm not getting any revenue from that service. And you can say, okay, it's not my problem. We are getting the traffic, and our job is done. But in our holistic operation, it's not an option to something like that. So that's why we've got many services that can help to grow the revenue from the service of SEO.
Yeah, exactly. Like that should be a part of strategy. That's also our strategy, like our business strategy, to grow with the clients, actually, to help the client grow and grow with him, let's say. So within those strategy, except of traffic, good SEO, good optimization, the conversion rates, part of UX and stuff like that will be really important for us, and should be for everyone, and especially for a client, because the client's goal will be to earn money out of SEO, to earn as much money as it will be possible. So if we will be able to help him with that, then he would want to start growing faster and faster. So it means also more work for us. So when the service itself will start earning money for himself, then the investment for the service will be really easier for a client itself further on. So you could start with lower rate, let's say, lower value at the beginning, start earning and as a snowball, and more and more clients. So that may be a thinking of most of some part of the clients, because what they are thinking that, I don't have like big money, I don't have $10,000 to spend every month for that, so SEO isn't for me. That's not true. You can start with $1,000. This $1,000 will earn for you like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and you can grow exponentially with that money and with that service. So that's the general idea.
Yeah, that's correct. And also, I think that also the big problem is the spread of knowledge, because we've got the similar problems in Europe, I think, a few years ago, and now we can see the same in US when the SEO knowledge is treating like lessons from Professor Snape, potions of big high positions in Hogwarts. But it's not. It's knowledge. It's 01 knowledge. You can find a lot of the knowledge how to do the SEO, and the problem with US companies is, I think, is also like they won't tell anything about the problems on the websites before they sign a contract.
That's true. That's true. The know-how can be kept as a secret. I don't understand it fully, but I know why it is happening. Mostly, SEO could be an easy business, easy money sometimes, because on the final day, the SEO company you are not the Google, so
I cannot do anything with that. Sorry, that's not my problem.
Not my fault. Google didn't let you in. So that's how some of agreements will look. And at the end of the day, not a lot of work will be happening. If you want to do a lot of work around the SEO, it is cost consuming for a company, for a SEO company. So depending on the business model, the transparency and sharing the knowledge with the client, it is not an easy option for every company, because that will not work.
Yeah, because there's a big risk that the client can get the knowledge and just hire some freelancer or in-house SEO and just use your knowledge.
Yeah, like comparing it to our team, our team of e-commerce consultants, the people who are providing the free consultations for our clients, which we can say that they are a little bit of a training of a client, so how the SEO should work and stuff like that. The main reaction is, let's say client will start, I had like an SEO company before, or I have one now, it doesn't work, I don't trust it. Okay, they will show him how it should be done, step by step, using every tool, and then the client will go, okay, they didn't do that. Okay, that makes sense. That's not magic. That's only like time-consuming job, but that's logic and easy. And then then the client, it is easier to client, to start the cooperation when before that he knows exactly what we will be able to do, what may be the results, and also client will be aware that the SEO work can be invasive sometimes for the website. So we need to do a lot of changes on the website, a lot of changes in the content and stuff like that. In the situation when you will first sign a full agreement with the client, bonding him, let's say, for a year, because that's how it is going, like most of the times, and then you want to start working and the client will tell you, no, there's no way that you will change anything on my website, I work on that. And then
this is one problem, but there's also a problem when after the signing contract, without this basic knowledge from the first contact with the client, he's signing the contract, then SEO agency is sending some specifications to change the website, and the client doesn't have the web developer. And what should I do with that? It's not our problem, we're just making SEO. So this is also the problem. We need to have a big team that can cover all the problems that will shown during the SEO process.
Yeah, that's true. And also the web development shouldn't be the client problem as well.
Yeah.
Most of the cases it will be. But in our case, we try to cover everything involved with the client, so that the web development team is also on our hand. So that's really helpful from the client perspective. But yeah, that's true. Like, client, as a client, let's say you have online bookstore, you should not be good in web development, SEO and stuff like that. If someone or something is good with everything, it means that he isn't good in anything.
Maybe one is a bookstore with the web development
maybe
books. Maybe he should know something about that. Yeah, but there's also, I think, a big problem with understanding the decisions of SEO company, because when someone is telling you, okay, we need to change that and this, and you're asking why, because we need to do this, it's not a good answer. We should work on data-driven SEO, as we are working on SEO data-driven. So when a client is asking why, we are just showing the numbers. That's why, because the numbers are showing that mathematics is the queen advance of all knowledge. So mathematics never lies and statistics never lies. So if something is good for 80% of our clients, then we can assume that we put those change, it will give some revenue for the client.
Yeah, and it will work for the client. That's true. Also, the mathematics part that you covered, give me like another case actually of a client and cooperations in between other companies to do good SEO. Starting with the content, so the king of SEO itself. Like content is like the most important thing for Google at the moment, and it probably will be more important over time. Good content, quality. So to create a good content, you need to do all the mathematics behind that as well.
The content is only the final version of whole work.
Yeah, exactly. So competitors analysis, long tail keywords, main keywords and stuff like that. You need to know where to use it, how to use it, how long the content should be,
just
and
to
stuff like that.
don't burn the money, because I also see many cases like some agency told you need to have 2,000 words on your website because it should be 2,000 words, and that's enough. But this is, many times not true, because we take all the market, all e-commerce market, maybe then 2,000 words is okay, but if we got specific niche, then probably it can be only 300 words or something like that. But the analysis will show that if we analyze all the niche and check how many words the competitors got on specific positions, then we can assume how much we need to produce to get the top 3, top 1 positions. And I think that it's again data driven. Without data, we cannot assume anything 100%.
Yeah, that's true. And to conclude to that, if you will have one company for doing the SEO optimization and one content for creating content, who will be responsible for the mathematics behind the content then? Yeah,
that's right. Probably you can also ask the SEO to make the analysis, but it's gonna be extra paid probably. So the costs are growing, and we still don't have the holistic strategy that will show you how many content you need to produce in 8th month of the service, 9th month of the service.
Yeah, and we can go further with it, because SEO agency will give the numbers to the copywriting agency. Then copywriting agency will prepare the content. SEO agency need to proofread it. And then always there will be some changes to make, and then it needs to go back to the copywriting agency. Everything costs.
Whole circle is closing and starting again and again. That's right, and it's a time-consuming, money-consuming, and finally not efficient.
Yeah, and nerve-consuming as well.
Life-consuming as well, and nerve-consuming, probably. Okay, but so please tell me what is the difference in our services? When you are starting talking with the client, the first option is the meeting. When it's not a meeting, it's like a training, as you told. It's something like a training for the future, probably future customer client. That because he needs to have a knowledge about the problems on the website, to make and maybe help create the strategy for his own business in SEO case. So first thing is the meeting, the training with the client, and let's assume that he say, okay, it's different approach. I will give it a chance. So what's going after that?
After the meeting, after the meeting, usually we are spending like the first month. It's like a first month is for creating the whole strategy with the client, but with the client that is aware how it look and how important it is. After the consultation, the meeting with the client, with the specialist. So first month, the technical optimization from a global point of view of our whole website. In the meantime, we will prepare the first drafts of content for the client. So we will give him several texts, let's say, telling about the same, only for client to be able to tell which style of writing is better for him, which of a copywriter suits him better. So later on, that person will be working on that project. As well as creating the strategy for the 9 months ahead, so 3 quarters to be more precise in, because the quarter will be the let's say main time frame for the cooperation with us. Then the meeting with the client and with the team, with our team and client team, if client want to have like more people involved in it, where we are discussing the strategy with the clients, final touches on the strategies, final proof of the strategies. With the strategies, we will set up what amount of work we will do, on which topics we will be working every
specifically.
Specifically, yeah.
And what goals we want to achieve.
Besides that, we will set up the milestones and goals for every quarter. So that doesn't happen in SEO. With SEO agency, it's a lot, and we will be keeping that milestones.
Yeah, and I think that the timeline is very important in all the strategy, and I think that we are not afraid to do it. It's because we are holistic, like we said at the beginning. We are not segmented. We've got everything in one organization, so we are 100% sure if we want to make some amount of text, some amount of content during 2 or 3 months, then we are 100% sure that we will make it, because it's our own copywriters that are working on it. So this is the difference, that we're not afraid to make some assumptions and goals and milestones. Okay, but we've got the milestones. For how long do we create a strategy? How does it look?
How long it will take us? Yeah, less than a month.
Okay, and for how long the strategy is set?
3 quarters. 3 quarters ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and how the working on the project looks like in the company?
From the company point of view. Yeah. To be able to do that, actually, we need a lot of specialists. So at the moment, we have like 300 plus specialists on over 3 continents that will be working on it. It may look kind of like a, let's say, factory job. So we have like specific departments that will be working only on one topic, but they will be the best specialists to work on that topic. So yeah, link building as a separate team, global optimization, that will be the separate team. But then manual optimization, which will be going with the strategy and optimizing this certain landing pages manually with the clients. That's another department. Then copywriting department, proofreading department as well. And head of the project manager that for that client will be gathering all the team members, all those information, and keep the things intact and make sure that this will be done the best way, perfect way. That's how it works.
So my point of view of that is like we are in one service, we are giving a lot of services, to be honest, and as a bonus, we are like outsourcing the project manager for the e-commerce owner.
Yeah, kind of.
It looks like
it looks like it. Yeah, it works like that.
Okay, and what are the biggest concerns in clients when you are talking with them?
Main concern will be that, okay, it is a lot of work. I don't have a time for that, stuff like that. So we are keeping the client head clear. We are working on it without him, let's say. He will be involved only in the final proofreading of the content. We will not insert the content for client website without his consent, actually. So we need to be sure that he is okay with that content, with that text. And then at the end of every month, every step will be reported to him, either from keywords perspective, how they are growing in numbers and stuff like that, technical perspective, so what steps we did through the optimization process,
the revenue perspective
as well, all the Google Analytics perspectives of the traffic, revenue, all that stuff, and backlinking. So he will be able to enter every backlink that we've provided to his website. He will be able to read the article, the text the full transparency. That's our role, because not every time it is happening.
Yeah, that's right. And I think also the good option is reporting system. that gives all those information, because I've also heard the opinion that while you are doing that, I can go to the Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and check it by myself. Okay, but how many of the clients even know what is the Google Search Console and know how to use Google Analytics?
And even if they know, almost none of them can set them up properly to be able to analyze every single step of a client, and that's what we are doing. But with the analytics point of view, client have an access to the same analytics as we have. We will set up and optimize his analytics, his Google Search Console and stuff like that. So yeah, we will be giving him the main information, but he have an access to it like 24/7. And he has his project manager who will be able to help him understand some things that will not be clear for him. Also available every day for him.
I think the very good thing that you said is that SEO can be very time consuming for the e-commerce owner, but we are trying to don't bother the client so much, but the moment when we need his opinion and information from him is the strategy presentation, creation of the strategy.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about the effectiveness of the service, and the strategy is the main point of it, because in strategy we can plan that someone is selling dresses, so there can be a summer season, so we can plan that we need to change the keywords even 9 months before the summer, because we already know that we need to do this, and the march on the specific product in the shop is better for the client in some way, so we can focus only on that products that he can earn as much as is possible.
Yeah, that's one thing that we will need some time from a client, but it will we will be able to fix it in like 3 days max. Mostly we are fixing it in one meeting, because we are coming to the client ready with the strategy. Then the conversation starts. Then obviously client will have some good points, because
he is the expert in his niche.
Exactly, because seasonality and stuff like that, that's one point, but we will be able to provide that information. We have that information, but let's say we will tell the clients, okay, those products have the best numbers actually to work on, and we are proposing you to start with them. And he will tell, but I have
my
like
margin is very low,
like lower. How about those? We will get numbers, so we will find the
and
perfect
it's also
solution.
important to not selling dreams during the strategy, because if client is saying I want this and this, then the SEO specialist need to say sorry, we would like to do this, but it's impossible in this at this time, or even during next 2-3 even years, if you want to fight on a big keywords or big niche.
It is really important from our perspective and from our experience, because we are providing the open agreements. The client may resign whenever he wants. Most of the agreements will be like fixed for a year, and you cannot do anything. There are like penalties to resign and stuff like that. We don't have it. So in our business strategy, in our business plan, we want to keep client as long as possible. Maybe that doesn't sounds perfect, but the average time of our consumer is like over 4 years right now. So we want to work with him for 6-7 years.
And want him to grow, because then we are growing also with him.
And then we will grow with him. And to be able to keep client for that long, he needs to be happy. He needs to get revenue.
Yeah, that's right. The dream can can last about a few months, but the good cooperation is for years.
He may wake up from that dream really fast.
We also told about option that we are not keeping the client with the contract with us for so long, and I think it's also we're showing it with SLA, because the communication with our project manager from the client to our project manager is less than 24 hours, and the reason why I think is obvious, because let's imagine that you are the business owner, you are the CEO of the company, so you know that during 24 hours many things can happen.
Yeah.
A lot of things can happen. So the communication is the most important when working with the client in another company.
Yeah. Yeah, we have that privilege to be available 24 hours for every customer, thanks to working on 3 continents right now.
All time zones.
Yeah, all
are
time
covered,
zones
yeah.
availability. So yeah,
Yeah, so even if your specific project manager is not available for you at this hour, then there's someone else who can help you all the time and
exactly.
put everything straight.
And also there were like a lot of situations that client will not be aware of without, let's say, in the middle of the night, your website will go offline.
Yeah.
We will be able to see that because we will get the tickets, stuff like that. We will have an access to the most of the clients' websites through the NDA that we are signing with them, so we can fix it immediately.
Yeah, that's because we've got a service that are checking every 5 minutes if the website is working. So if something stops working, then after maximum 5 minutes, we know that there's something wrong and someone is sitting on it and trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talk a little bit about SEO services and about e-commerce. And from your point of view, for which customers, for which e-commerce sites, the SEO service is most important at those days?
Most important for those days, I think, for the smaller ones, especially those who didn't try, let's say, giving the times that we are living in, a lot of businesses from, let's say, local goes online. Going online without SEO is like almost impossible at the moment. So for them, that will be the most important. For every e-commerce, actually, the SEO should be one of the most important things, because that will be your main tool to sell. Actually, Google will be your main tool to sell the products, but you should not be afraid to start doing with it, because it doesn't have to start with like really big costs for you. You can start slowly and develop over time.
Yeah, just find your niche and grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what can you say to the viewers about what we can finish our conversation? I think we only can wish a big revenue from their e-commerce sites, even it's going to be SEO, Google Ads, social media, or anything like that. Just grow, get a big revenue, and be happy.
Yeah, exactly. Grow and be happy. That's the sentence.
Okay, so thank you very much, Kacper, for visiting me, and thank you for watching, and see you in next episode. Bye.